Hey. Oh, hi. Hello. Welcome back to the Ellenbogen show. I'm your host, the only person really regularly on the show, Ellenbogen. And it's Friday. It's a Friday night. I should be out. I should be out doing stand-up comedy because that is the thing that I was going to say the thing that I say that I want to do, but also it is the thing I do and do want to do. But tonight I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't know why. I guess I know why. I was out last night, Thursday, and I did a show. I did a show at a place that I've only done, it's like a bar, and I've only ever done shows there on the weekends, and they're generally really good. And so I was like, oh, I'll work on this new thing. And I said this fun thing the other day, and let me try to work on that and expand it. And then it was like such a bad show. And it turns out it's like a mic, more like, not a mic, but it's like, it's not a good show during the week. And I didn't know that. And the guy who books it was like, I'm so sorry. And it's like, it's fine. It's fine. Like whatever. It's a Thursday. I'll explain this drink in a minute. It was a mistake. But anyway, it was so bad. It's not like, I think when you're like newer at stand up, that sounds so pretentious. When you're new at stand up, not like me, I'm a veteran, but actually that's true. When you're new at stand up, you have to do bad shows. You have to. And that's your fault because you're not good. And so you think like, well, I deserve more, but you don't. And I know that because that was me for so long, right? And I was like, I'm above this and I'm better. And then you go up and you bomb, or you go up and you kill in a really bad room and you go, I knew it. I knew that I was meant for this. I'm going somewhere. And you like have this whole like, two sides of the ego, this like gigantic ego that's like, I'm better than everyone. And the other side is like, I'm nothing, I'm no one, and then that propels you forward somehow and whatever, you get through the years of being terrible. But then you get to a point where like you're actually funny and it's not like you need to like find out or like run it past, 6 people in a room that's poorly lit and they don't even know why they're there. Like every single person I spoke to in the audience, because I really couldn't do much at that show, but every single person I spoke to in the audience, I was like, you live here? They're like, no, I just got here today. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense to me that you were literally wandering the streets of Austin and somebody was like, come in here, there's comedy. And you were like, maybe I've heard things about comedy in Austin. And you go in and then you're listening and it's bad. And maybe like the third or fourth person in, you're like, I should have killed myself. Instead of coming on this trip, I should have followed my instincts and just ended it. And I booked this trip because I thought maybe I should keep going and the voices inside were wrong. But now I'm here in this room and it's so bad and I realize, yeah, death is a sweet invitation compared to bad stand up in a bad room. So yeah, I'm taking a night off, because I left and it's okay. Like, I mean, we've all had those shows, but I'm just a little tired at the moment. And I was like, yeah, that was I have multiple shows. I think I have 3 shows tomorrow. I run my show every Monday. I probably have a show. I might have a show on Tuesday. I don't remember. And then next week I'll skip. I don't know if I'll skip Sunday. We'll see. But then next week I'm going to New York and I'll probably do the stand when I'm in New York, which is very fun. And I'm not passed. To be passed means to be like a regular at a club, which they only like allow for like famous people and people who live there basically. But I'm generally a welcome guest from what I understand, but that could change at any moment, You don't know in comedy, and that's why everybody is insane. So anyway, tonight I was like, let me just have the night off, and then I changed the filter on my, you know, HVAC, whatever my air conditioning system. I'm rolling my eyes because when you're a tenant and you read your lease and it's like you're responsible for changing your filter. It's so obnoxious, and it's like if you don't change it, then you could be responsible for any damage you cause. And you're like, why are you such a dick? Why are you being such a dick in writing? Yeah, I'll change it. All right. How dirty can it get? How hard can it be? But then my landlord, I was thinking like because my air conditioning's been it hasn't really been great recently, and it's getting warm. Well, it's hot in Austin now. And I was like, all right, well, I should change the filter. And my landlord sent an email today being like, hey, do you want to renew your lease? It's 5 months away, literally 5 months, like to the day. And I'm like, really? 5 months? You're giving me 5 months? I have to, anyway, whatever. I'll get back to that. But he was like, please, it's getting warm. If you're going to use your air conditioning, change your filter. And I was like, that's a good reminder. And I went and I changed my filter. And I only realized recently because I changed my friend's air filter at his house when he left for his land. The whole story, whatever. And I always talk about my friend James McCann. I always fucking talk about James, but when he left, I helped get his house ready. They had to leave. They had a new baby coming, whatever. So I did a lot of stuff to get the house ready for the landlord. And only then did I find out that the filter has an arrow on it that points in a particular direction. And you're supposed to, did you know that? You're supposed to point the filter arrow to, I mean, I didn't even know which way. I just was like, oh, the arrow, one arrow is this, one arrow is this. You got to line them up. Okay. And I was like, oh no, I wonder about my filter. So tonight I vacuumed, I told you last time I'm trying to work on getting rid of the depression. So I'm just like, let's get rid of all the dust. I feel like I keep it clean, but when you really vacuum a carpet, it just makes you feel like you're like, I'm disgusting. Like I never want any, because I keep it nice, I think, but then I vacuum and the whole thing is full. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't have anyone in my life because I can't, I don't know. There's too much dust. Anyway, I went to change the HVAC filter and it was filthy. And not only that, I realized it was the wrong way. And, and then, the whole vent was covered in crap. So I had to I'm like up on, my HVAC, it's an apartment. So I'm like standing on the sink and trying to whatever. And there's like dust flying down everywhere. And the truth be told, I left part of it. I was like, I can't do all of it. I'll go record. I can record a podcast before I can finish cleaning up the sink. But I turned the air conditioning on, and like immediately I was like, this is way better. Like it was kind of like humid before, and now it works really well. And I'm like, yeah. I get why they put it in writing. I hope my landlord never sees this. I don't think he would ever watch this. I've tried so hard to get my landlord to give a shit about me. I'm like, yeah, I'd like do stand-up comedy, just I'm kind of funny and whatever. I'm like an artist, and he's like, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, just make sure that you leave underneath the sink open if it gets cold because you don't want the pipes to freeze. And I'm like, did you hear me say I'm single before? Just say, just whatever. Nothing. Doesn't care. And I've met him. He's like, he would be kind of good looking if he weren't so money grubbing, but that's like a landlord thing. But what was the other thing I was going to say about him? I just thought of it. No, it's gone. Why am I so tired? Oh, because I don't sleep. That's right. Yeah, no, I forgot that I can never sleep through the night. So that's probably why I'm tired. But um, yeah, my brain is slow. I don't know. I smoked weed last night. I never smoke weed, but I was like, just give me something to make it feel different. What the fuck was I going to say about my landlord? Mm. Oh, I know what I was going to say. It's not really worth it. All of that was not really worth it for this. What I was going to say is I wrote it down as a joke that, like, this is too much buildup. But I wrote down a line that, like, I'm like 41. I pay my rent early every single month. And all I really want is for my landlord to tell me I'm a good girl. But never says it. Brian, what's going on? I just want him to go, Eve, you're so good. Look at you paying your rent early. Ooh, you're so good. Nothing. Doesn't say it. Hurts. Brian. Ugh. I take it back. Actually, I don't. I don't mean any of this. When you're just like kidding, but then you're like, God, if he really heard this, I'd be horrified. I'd be like, oh, I didn't mean it. It's just because you're a figure of authority in my life. That's it. That's the whole thing. Ugh. Yick. Sometimes I say things I regret instantly. Anyway, the drink. I made myself, it's an iced tea with some milk in it. I know that sounds kind of gross, but it's not. Okay, the point, basically, I moved to Austin 2 years ago. I'm probably leaving this year to move to Nashville, Tennessee. It'll be like 2.5 years total that I've been here. Will I miss anything? No, except at H-E-B, which is a big supermarket chain here. And they also have the fancy sister version of H-E-B, which is called Central Market. They have a really good brand of They have a really good brand of organic teas, and one of them is a dandelion tea with vanilla. And I've discovered with a friend, the dandelion tea is amazing. I discovered the tea. No, actually, no, it was my friend. It was my friend's dad was visiting, and he discovered the tea. But then together they discovered that if you add a bit of heavy cream, I know this sounds crazy, it's so fucking good. A little bit of heavy cream and some honey, it's crazy. It's like, and it's tea. It's amazing. So I made it tonight, and sometimes I like to make it iced because I'm like, oh, this is fun. It's sweet and it's creamy and it's the tea and whatever. And then I made it. I did it. I made it iced, and it's the wrong vibe, and I'm annoyed because now I've used the tea bags and I sat down for this podcast, and I don't know. I disappointed myself. By the way, I'm wearing my sushi shirt. Last week I looked at myself and I was wearing, I believe it was last week, I was wearing a gray shirt on my gray couch. And I was like, I gotta. And I wasn't wearing any makeup, and the film quality was grainy. You try your best. And right now I feel like my best isn't that good. I feel like I'm just yammering on and saying nothing. And I apologize. Right now I'm only working like 3 days a week, like at a job. And I find it exhausting. 3 days. And I do stand up, right? So of course I'm doing more than just that. But I used to have jobs that were like 5 days a week. When I lived in Korea, I worked sometimes 6 days a week. And it was a lot, but I could do it. Now, 3 days, I'm like, I don't know. I think I think a huge part, and I've said this many times, a huge part of why it's hard for me to work at this job in particular, because it's at a store, it's at an electronics store, is that I have to wear a shirt with a logo on it. I fucking hate. Even in like normal life, I don't like to wear any kind of branded clothing, but I really don't like to wear a shirt with the name of the place I work on it. For many reasons. I mean, I think it's like weird that you have to like be branded while you're there, but also part of it is I don't want to wear someone like clothes that I are not for me. Like they're just like it's like big and like so there's a couple. So there's a couple I have two sizes of the standard shirt, which is fucking hideous and like ugly colors, ugly fit. One's like too small, one's too big. They're both men's shirts. The material's gross. I have a different one that I like that's fitted in kind of like a baseball tee, and it's like it's nicer, but the truth is, right, I've gained weight recently. So I feel uncomfortable in everything. I feel really fat in pretty much everything. Either I feel fat because the shirt's too tight or I feel fat because the shirt is too loose. And I would love right now to revert to my COVID era clothing, which I called pajama chic, where I would wear like rompers with like, a fun little denim jacket over it. Like it's like, where is she? She's a silhouette. She's one of those flying squirrels. Like I have one that's my favorite. I still have it where it's just like huge. And it's like, am I in here? Yes. But where's my body? You'll never know. And that's what I really want to be wearing right now all day. And I also want to wear like my little Ugg slippers to work, which of course I can't do because I want to just, if I go to work, there's a couch. I would like to be on the couch with a blanket and a pillow and my laptop. And I would like to sit there. And when people come in, I would say, hey, have a look around. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be watching High Fidelity again while I sit here on the couch. That's the job. That's the only job. Like if I have to do a job I don't want to do, that's the job I'd want to do, is to sit by the door of the store and go, hey, have a look around. Let me know if you want anything. And then if they do, I'll go, yeah, I'm there. I'm coming. And then I go, ugh, and I make a noise and pause it like resentfully. And I go, no. I'm fine. No, I needed to get up anyway, but they feel really bad. That's what I'd want. And then I would ring them up and I'd get a higher commission than I do. And then I'd go back to sitting down on the couch with a pillow and I would start bringing in extra like little fluffy things so that I can just feel really comfortable until I eventually just, I guess, get like a fold out couch or just like a bed. Why do I have to wear a shirt with a logo? Why? Like, I said this on stage the other day where I was like, because I was ranting. Of course I was ranting. And I said, why does it have to say the name of the store? Like, where I work. I'm here. It's like, I'm not at Chipotle. I'm in this establishment. And I'm coming up to you and saying, hey, can I help you? So I just don't know why it's like, I'm also just a billboard. Man, I hope I don't get like fired for, it's like, I don't know, like people could see stuff and then you go, it's not that I'm saying I don't want the job. I'm just saying in a capitalist society, workers at stores are branded. It's a bummer. I also refuse. I'm a little anxious. I'm like, do I even keep this in? Because like, what if this gets seen? It's not like I haven't told them that I have a podcast. Of course I have. I can't shut my fucking mouth about anything. I'm like, I have a podcast now, and I'm like, I am not good at being smooth about stuff. In a capitalist society, people become billboards. All right. I wrote down some notes. God, I wish my head were. This happened to me a couple weeks ago. I had to really edit that episode. It was like 2 or 3 episodes ago where I was like, I'm so tired. I was trying to make some kind of point about feminism and I really lost my way and I had to edit the fuck out. I edited like 20 minutes out because I was like, You ever start talking? This is the thing I do where I'll get really tired and I'll be like on the phone or I don't know, like even in person, and I'll start like trying to make a point and I'll almost black out talking. Like I can black out sober talking passionately about a subject, and I have no idea how it sounds to other people, but I know that for me I kind of come to and I'm like, did you just mention Virginia Woolf? Like what are you what are you doing? How did you get here? Like but I go, I don't know. I just was talking about Virginia Woolf drowned herself in a river with stones in her pocket. And it's like, what are we even talking about? We were talking about, you know, veganism. What, I don't even know what we're talking about. But suddenly I'm like, ugh. I also have a thing where when I get tired, like really tired, I cannot physically end a conversation. I tell people, I go, like, I'll be like, we'll be talking in person or whatever, and I'll go, I'm so tired that I have lost the ability to end this conversation. You have to do it. Like, I say that. I'm like, you have to be the one to put a stop to this. I cannot do it. Please, for the love of God. Like, I can't get out of it. I don't know. It's like my brain is like, don't end the moment, because I think part of me is like, if we end the conversation, I'm going to have to figure out the next step, whether that's getting on a train. Every time I say get on a train as a Jew, I just feel like I'm on the cusp of a Holocaust joke, but I'm not, but I think people expect it. But anyway, like not a train to Auschwitz, just a train in a city, right? Austin doesn't have trains really. It has like one little dinky car that goes back and forth between the suburbs. But I think about New York trains, London trains. I lived in Korea. Seoul had the best trains. But the point is, God, see, here I go. Woo! I'm kind of coming up though a little bit. I can feel myself. I'm getting my energy. Yeah, it's coming in. But I can't end a conversation because then I have to figure out what to do next. It's the same reason, and this is only when I'm tired. It's the same reason why when I am having a really good time and I have to pee, I can't. It's like I can't make myself leave. It's so weird. I can't. Like I'll be like, I have to pee so badly, but I don't want to get up from this conversation because then the dynamic will change. I'll come back from the bathroom. People will go, you know what? I'm going to go home. I think I'm really tired. And I go, no, if only I hadn't peed, we could still laugh, you know? But they're like, no, I'm tired. And then I regret my bladder. All right, what did I write down? I said last week, I do actually think that this is like the cure for depression. She said depressed. But one of the cures for depression I've found is to be busy. I think not busy like rushing so that you never have time to feel the immense pain of human, like whatever, the human experience, but busy like with things, interesting things to do. So last night after that god awful show, I was going to go home. And then I was like, I should go see a movie. I love seeing a movie alone. If you haven't seen a movie alone, you really don't know what you're missing. Seeing movies alone is like, I think, the best way to see a movie. Because when you go with someone else, you're too like enmeshed emotionally. You know, like you're kind of like, what do you think? Are you looking at me? Like, what do we think of? Is this fun? Is it good? Is it emotional? No, you go alone. You sit alone in the dark and you emote and no one knows. And sometimes you can masturbate. Oh, I'm kidding. That was just Pee Wee Herman. By the way, in defense of Pee Wee Herman, what was his name? Paul Rubens. He got busted at like a porn theater for masturbating in like the 90s, and it ruined his whole life basically. And then he died later of cancer. I'm convinced that he died of I think it was cancer, because he was so devastated for being caught like masturbating. I don't know. I'm just making things up. But I do think that there's like a way that trauma can cause cancer. That's my, I don't think that's that controversial to say. But anyway, everybody would masturbate at porn theaters. That's what they were for. But they did some kind of like weird sting. I don't know if they did a sting or if somebody saw him and then reported him. But that ruined his career. The part that I won't defend about him is that apparently there was some kind of raid of his house at some point. I think it was years later. And he was found with child porn. And he was like, it's a collectible. Like he was like, he said something like, and maybe he was telling the truth. He was like, they were like historic, like relics or something, kind of like, you know, those antique, you know, that antique child porn memorabilia that we all collect from our grandparents when they die. It's like, oh my God, here's the urn. Here's their wedding ring and the brooch. Here's that deck of cards with naked children on them. No, but I think it was along, I don't know if it was along those lines. I really don't know. But I still think like, no, I don't know if you should have that, Paul. I don't think that that's like becoming of a young man like yourself. Especially not someone who had a children's TV show. And especially not someone who was already arrested for masturbating in a public theater. Anyway, he died. But I still felt bad for him. It seemed like a pretty tragic life. Him and Screech from Saved by the Bell, Dustin Diamond. That's pretty tragic as well. You know, he became a porn star. I think what was the thing I'm thinking of? There was some, yes. Okay. I really think that when you, like, they'll have kids play like the fat kid or whatever in some movie when she or he's like a kid. And then they grow up and they die. Like, so Now and Then was that movie in the 90s. And it's like, the kids are Thora Birch, Christina Ricci, and what's her name? Gabby Hoffman? Is that her name? There's the comedian Hoffman, but I think Gabby Hoffman's the one who was in the TV show Transparent, who's really good. So those three. And then they grow up to be like Demi Moore. Christina Ricci grows up to be Demi Moore. No, Christina Ricci grows up to be Rosie O'Donnell. Thora Birch grows up to be Melanie Griffith. I don't know. One of them grows up to be Tom Hanks' wife, Rita, whatever her name is. But anyway, there's this one girl, the fat girl, who's not even fat. And her character's name is, I think, Chrissy. In the 90s, like, they were so comfortable calling kids fat. Like, they were just like, this is the fat girl. And I'm surprised they named her and they didn't just call her like whale girl, fat whale slut. She wasn't a slut, but in the movie she was a prude. Anyway, that actress died like really young. I was in like a black hole reading about it. I think we should call it a scroll hole. Do people not call it that? That's a good term. I was in a scroll hole reading about where they are now. Of course, I know where like Demi Moore and all these, other girls are, other women. But yeah, that actress died really young, and I can't remember if it was like suicide or drugs. It was dark. It wasn't just like, oh, she had an accident. It was like she had a bad life. And I'm like, could it have been because when she was a child, she was cast as the fat girl? Like, and everybody was like, and the whole running joke, the whole movie was, she's fat. That's the whole movie. They're like, yeah, Roberta, that's, what's her name? Christina Ricci's character. Roberta is obsessed with death because her mother had died, which I related to because my mother died too. And then Thora Birch's character is obsessed with sex, and Gabby Hoffman's character is like kind of cynical and whatever. But Chrissy is just fat. No, I guess she was also really prude. She was prude and fat. Yeah, all those prude fat girls just eating cake instead of dick. That was the gist of it. It's just that instead of being into boys, she was just into cake. And it happens the whole movie. Like, they'll be doing something and then they'll be like, where's Chrissy? and she's just eating like another Twinkie, and then I'm going to say she killed herself. I probably should look this up. I don't think she killed herself. It was something bad. Ugh, let's do it. Let's look this up. I'm going to be like Tim Dillon's assistant here. You listen to Tim Dillon pod? Tim has like an assistant who looks shit up for him. Okay. Now and then. Oh, now and then. Come on. Now and then. 1998 film. Okay. Let's look at the cast. Cast. Roberta Christina, Thora Birch, Holly Griffith, Gabby Hoffman, Demi Moore, Ashley Aston Moore, and Rita Wilson. Okay. She died. She was 26. God, for a second I was like, oh my God, did she not die? Without being insane. If I'm like, calling girls fat kills them. And then it's like, she is actually really happy. No, she died. Life and career. In here it doesn't say. In December 2007, Aston Moore died at the age of 26. Okay. I read an article about it. Of course I did. I was in a scroll hole. Let's see. I'm going to Google her quickly. Maybe you're going, Eve, stop. We don't need to know, but I'm telling you. Wow, this is a sad title for an article. Movie actors you may not know have been dead for a long time. Yikes, what a list. All right, I can't find it. But I think if you want to go into a scroll hole, there's a TikTok 11 months ago. The tragic story of Ashley Aston Moore. See? You see? I told you that anyway, I'm not going to watch the TikTok, but you can find it. I got to turn my screen off again because I cannot focus ever with the screen on. I feel kind of proud of myself that I remembered that. Can't remember half my jokes half the time, but I can remember that the whole country bullying one girl who wasn't fat for being fat kind of scarred that girl, I think. And then now there's a TikTok about her. So I went to go see a movie. I never got into it. So last night I was like, I'm gonna go see this movie. I'll be honest, I stopped at Whole Foods and I got like 2 desserts. Not huge. I don't want to go into what they were. Okay, fine, I will. Since you ask, I'll tell you. I got a slice of key lime pie. And then I also got a couple of the macaroon things. And it's not that do you hear the guilt in my voice? Do you hear how fucked up I am about food? It's not that it wouldn't be that big of a deal if I hadn't recently put on 10 to 15 pounds, depending on the day. And I swear to God, I really have not, I'm defending myself in front of a jury. I'm like, I swear I have not changed that much of what I do. I just have been very stressed. And, but I feel like it's my job to be thinner than I am. That's just my woman thing where I'm like, I'm so sorry that I am not thin enough ever, but also especially not now. And so I had dessert. And the truth is, I didn't even fucking enjoy it because I was at this movie eating my, it's like one of those places where you can order food and it's like, no outside food or drinks. Then I'm like secretly eating my fucking key lime pie in the dark, hoping that, because then it's like, what do you do if an usher comes in and is like, you're not allowed to eat that? And then you're like, if you don't want me to eat this, I'm going to kill myself in front of you. That's just to fuck with you, just because you said no. That's how I'd win that argument. And so no one did that because no one cares, but I didn't enjoy it. And then during the movie I was like, ugh, and now I don't even feel good because I've eaten so much sugar. But I saw this movie called Pillion, Pilllion, with Alexander Skarsgård. And I feel bad, I should know his name, but he's the guy who plays Dudley in the Harry Potter franchise. And it's crazy because in those movies, he's this like burly, big, won't say fat because he was a child and I don't want him to fucking kill himself. But he was this burly, big boy in Harry Potter. And now in this movie, he plays this like scrawny, really depressed gay kid. I mean, he's not kid. He's like in his 20s. It's, kind of implied. Probably late 20s, maybe mid. And then he ends up in this kind of BDSM relationship with Alexander Skarsgård, who's like his dom. I won't spoil it, don't worry. So he's like the sub, Alexander Skarsgård is the dom. And it was pretty funny. I mean, it was sad. It was kind of dark in some parts. It definitely didn't like lift my mood at the end of it, because the end I found sad. It's not totally sad. Now I'm not trying not to ruin it for you, but it's not totally sad. It's just whatever. Just if you were gonna see it, I think it is a good movie. It was interesting. You know what that is? It was one of the few movies I've seen in like 10 years that wasn't trash. That's what I'll say. It was like, they were like, actually, I thought it was really well done. It was like an indie film, probably pretty low budget, but like so many movies get so much hype. Like, what was the movie with Kristen Stewart where she plays a lesbian? I don't know. It's like she plays a lesbian. She ends up dating this other woman who's like a bodybuilder, and she's taking steroids, the other woman, and she ends up killing someone, the girlfriend, and it's like, it ends up being kind of like a not based in reality movie. Like, the girlfriend keeps like growing in size every time I don't know. It was got a lot of hype, and I was like, yeah, it got hype because it's like two very hot lesbians in the desert, I think, if I remember. But it was disappointing. Now it's like, sounds like I only ever see gay films about like some kind of people who strength train or something. That's my very niche genre. I only watch films about gay people who are really like kind of fit. No, which actually just means I just watch porn. No, but I'm just thinking about like indie movies I've seen. Most films now are absolute trash, like complete trash. I sound so old, but it's true. And this movie, Pillion or Pillion, whatever you say it, but it was a good, sweet story with some funny parts, some sad parts, good acting, weird shit I'd never seen before or never seen kind of presented on film that was not pornography before. I recommend it. I think it's just good to go and do things. Like, even though, I don't know, I guess I did wake up today with like a bit of a spring in my step. Yeah, maybe now the reason I'm tired is because it's probably after midnight. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, it's after midnight. So that's probably, I'm like, why am I so tired? I don't understand. All I did was stay up till 3 a.m. last night. 2:30? 3, I think it was 3. And then not sleep well. And then I didn't exercise today. And, I don't know why I'm so tired. So stupid. I think that's probably the thing. Like, I think it's with like depression. Depression's such a like stupid word because it really just means like periods of your life that are difficult. Because, when you say depression, it's like, should you be on medication? What should you do? But everybody freaks out. It's like, you just go through hard times, and we just have to like put a label on it because it kind of describes it more accurately or kind of gives you like a sense of what it feels like. But most people, it's like, oh my God, depression. What are you going to do? It's like, yeah, I'll just get through it. I'll get through it. I'll exercise a bit more. I actually did a lot today. I don't know. You busy yourself. You get some sunlight. Probably eat more vegetables than I've been eating. It's not severe depression. I had severe depression once when I was 21, when my aunt died, and I was in my senior year of college, and that was really bad. But you know what? I ended up taking antidepressants for like 6 weeks. I mean, I took Zoloft for 6 weeks. I couldn't. I hate pills. Sorry, I had one of those moments where I feel like I was blacked out, and I'm like, what? What am I saying? No, I remember what I'm saying. But um, yeah, that time was different. I think that there's obviously different degrees of depression. But I think we're all very scared of getting lost in our feelings. And I think sometimes it's just okay. It's okay to be kind of like down, and you go see a movie, you get some sleep. But that's what I was going to say, that when you go through times like that, or for me anyway, when I go through times like this, I kind of forget about my body a lot. Like I'll be like, why am I so tired? It's like, oh, because you haven't slept. Or I'll be like, yeah, just fucking up at work or not able to remember something. And it's like, I don't even feel that I'm tired. But it's just like, yeah, because you're not paying attention to the sensations of your body. You're just kind of ruminating on your thoughts. But I don't know, it'll pass. I took myself out for breakfast this morning. Now that I've been complaining about key lime pie and macarons, I went to this diner. And I don't want to say the diner name because there's two of them in Austin. And they're pretty basic, pretty decent. But at one of them, the one that's like minutes from my house, apartment. I don't want you to think I'm rich here. There is a guy. He's like the main waiter, bartender dude. And he always is wearing like a jazz hat. Like a, like a pork pie. What do they call it? Like a pork pie hat or like a stove pot. Like just one of those like flat hat. Not a fedora, but like just a guy playing the bass at a jazz club, but like not a good jazz club. You know what I mean? Like a really cheesy one. And he's like playing the bass really kind of like just like very basic bass, like the standing bass, and making like eye contact with you. But he's like a little too old to be doing this. That kind of guy works at the cafe. Like he always wears that hat. Always. And he's just so annoying. And I'll be like, hey, how you doing over it? And I'm like, oh, leave me alone. I just want to journal. Like I just give me a plate of eggs and let me journal in peace. But I can't, he won't fuck off every time I go. And he'll just be like trying to crack jokes with me. It's like, can't you see? Like, I know that I'm making myself sound so miserable as a person, but I'm really not. Like when I go out in public, I'm very friendly, but stop annoying me by talking to me while I'm journaling and drinking my coffee. And then he'll bring me the check like way too quickly. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to sit and write and I'll pay before I go. And I've waited tables. That never bothers me. But he'll be like, he just hovers and he'll like open up the thing to see if I put my card in it. Last time I was there, and this is why I can never go back. Last time I was there, he kept looking and I said, I'll tell you. I'll let you know. You don't have to check again. I'll let you know when my card is there. Oh, I was such a bitch. And I just vowed I will never go back to that location again. So I went to a different location of the same chain today. And you know what? It was so much better. And there was another weird server, but she was a waitress. She was like an older Latina woman. I've just never in my life seen so much makeup on somebody ever. Like it was just like thick. I can't even express it. Like caked on her eyelashes. But you know what? She was great. She was sweet. She left me the fuck alone. I loved it. I ordered the breakfast, the little eggs, just like an egg dish. I forget what it's called. But it was eggs, scrambled eggs your way. Beautiful. Scrambled eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, and a biscuit. Oh, I love a biscuit. And that is what I'm going to use for today's Fuck, Marry, Kill. Last week we did celebrities. It wasn't very good, honestly. This week, though, Fuck, Marry, Kill, eggs, bacon. or biscuit. It's a hard one for me. I love them all. I love them all so much. Eggs, okay, so eggs, I usually get them scrambled. Let's say scrambled eggs. Let's be specific here. Scrambled eggs are a real staple for me. I just had a vision of like, I don't know if you know this, that when you look at the analytics for your podcast on YouTube, once you have like more people listening, it shows you at what point people stop listening. And I just had a vision of people just bailing as soon as I start talking about why I love scrambled eggs. Like just people being like, I cannot do it anymore. She can talk about depression. She can talk about whatever else I talked about. Pee Wee Herman jerking off in a theater. Pedophilia. I feel like I mentioned pedophilia like on every episode. But no, not the scrambled eggs. But I still feel like I should explain it. Scrambled eggs are a good staple. They're a good hearty food. Sometimes when you're really feeling just like connected to the source, just like really like one with the universe, for me anyway, scrambled eggs. It's always with something like a hot sauce or an avocado, something. It always to me needs a little, even some olive oil. I like to put olive oil on my scrambled eggs, but like after I've cooked them, not like cooked in olive oil. Listen, it's good. I know what I'm doing. So if you're going, what? I don't want to, just stop. You're wrong and I'll show you. But like scrambled eggs can make me feel like, yes, it's going good. But they're not that exciting. And I understand that. Bacon, on the other hand. Bacon is like, bacon's like, to me, it's the difference between masturbating by hand and masturbating with a vibrator. Or you can even say sex with a vibrator, whatever. The point is, when you have bacon, it's like coming in that way where you're like about to die because it's so good, but it's not like organic to your soul. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's too good. It's too good that it's like, somehow, it's like you're never going to be able to come without artificial, like a battery again. Does that make sense? Like, it's not really of this natural world, even though it is. It's like not, I know that bacon technically is, but it's like, it's just, look at me like looking off into space wistfully. I'm like, bacon. Like, I love bacon so much. I'm Jewish, and we're not, my family's not religious at all, but I didn't grow up eating a lot of bacon. And then I went through like 7 years as a vegetarian and a couple of those vegan. Stupid. Maybe one of those years vegan, but I have made up for all of that time. I've eaten so much bacon. It's like I've kept places afloat, I always eat like organic-y, whatever. Try to, but not today. I ate bacon just at the diner, and my God, it was so good. And the last, definitely not least, the biscuit. Man. And this is not like a British biscuit. We're talking about like a biscuit in the UK or Australia is a cookie. That's what they call it, the biscuit. But I'm talking about like a savory American hearty biscuit that you just get a little pat of butter, you stick it in there and it's hot, and then you turn it over so the butter melts into both sides. And then you instantly come. But it's not like the bacon. It's not like the bacon where you're like, this is obscene. It's like you come, but somehow you feel like you're in your childhood. Do you know what I mean? Like a biscuit to me is like being like a child, but a child who's coming, like from all the comfort of my childhood. It's like being in front of a fire and coming. I think, yeah, I'm always going to talk about cum. I can't help it. It's part of who I am. I'm moving to Nashville, and there's a lot of clean comedy in Nashville. And I've told the booker at the club, I was like, I'll try to come up with 5 minutes. Because I know that if you can, there's so much money. But I'm like, what to say? What will I say for 5 minutes that is not dirty? I can't fathom it, you know? Even like a biscuit, I'm like, ugh, it makes me want to come while thinking of my childhood. Like, so anyway, fuck, marry, kill. So, I think, God, I hear like, oh, it's gone now. You ever hear like a plane flying so low that you're like, is it crashing into my apartment? Like, is this the end? This is a really hard one. I mean, to me, like, I'm not saying I'm going with this, but naturally I would assume that like the eggs would be like stability, and that would be like marriage or something. I mean, I feel like eggs, the thing about eggs is that it's very difficult to clean up. But I'll tell you, bacon, also difficult to clean up. And bacon makes you smell like bacon all the time. At the same time, eggs and bacon are keto friendly. And I don't find any, like, I always feel good after I eat them. The biscuit, on the other hand, I mean, I don't think anyone's saying that a biscuit's like healthy for you. I think I would have to, I don't want to do it because I love it. And you don't want to kill what you love. I think the biscuit's my favorite of all three of those things. And yet I think I have to kill the biscuit, marry the eggs, and fuck the bacon. You know, I can't smell like bacon my whole life, but I'll have sex with the bacon, and then I'll live my life with the eggs. And when the eggs is really boring and just, you know, being really domestic and thoughtful, but like not that spicy, I'll look off into the distance and I'll remember bacon and I'll go, God, that was really great. I loved it. Oh, I meant to say at the very beginning of this, I'll probably go back and put a little thing at the beginning and say, I'm going to London. I'm going to be in London visiting my friends, my friend Hannah specifically, friend of the pod, and also just friend of me. But I'll be visiting Hannah. But while I'm there, I will be at Top Secret in London. Whenever I go, they usually put me on for spots, but also I'll be doing a solo show, an hour, on Thursday, April 9th, whatever that Thursday is. I think it's the 9th at 6 p.m. The show is called Funny Little Mouth, Eve Ellenbogen, Funny Little Mouth, and it's going to be £1 for the tickets, and then I'll solicit donations after the show. And then it looks like I'll probably be in Orlando at the end of June doing a weekend at different shows. And then in May, I will be opening for James McCann in Toronto. And then New York, Boston, Pittsburgh, all over Florida, Denver, a bunch of places. I think we have 20 shows in 2 weeks. Oh, and then also in May, I'll be headlining at I have a lot of stuff going on. I'll be headlining at the Velveeta Room here in Austin, where I do my show Powerbomb. On I think May 2nd, the 8 and 10 p.m. shows. The tickets will be in my bio on Instagram. I'll put a little thing at the beginning of this, so this might be the second time you're hearing it. But anyway, I think that's probably plenty. I think that's enough out of me. I hope this is good. I'm gonna go through it. There's a couple moments that I'll be like, should I edit it out? You'll be able to tell from looking at it. You'll go, that was weird. There was like a weird jump there. If I did edit anything, you'll go, what did she say? Did she say something racist? I don't know. I guess you'll never know unless I don't edit anything out, in which case you'll know exactly what I said the whole time. By the way, please, if you like this, please like and subscribe. I am trying to eventually I would like to monetize my YouTube so that I can do something that doesn't require me to wear a branded shirt. And the only way I can monetize my YouTube is once I hit 500 followers or subscribers, and also like a lot of watch hours. So people watching my podcast all the way through. But for now, just like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Just look at me. Thank you so much. I love you. And see you next time. Bye.